Many years ago, I remember the Jackson 5. They sang a song said ABC is easy as 1, 2, 3. Do, re, mi, ABC. Don't start singing. You may not get the words, just like I kind of messed up. But one of the things that I realize is that in ministry, it's vitally important that we make things easy, particularly for those of us that are pastors and leaders. And so what I want to do is share with you the ABC campaign, particularly for those of you that are not only looking for initiatives and various things that you like to do to minister and to evangelize in your community. Because one of the things that we recognize, a recent survey said that 60 to 80% of first-time guests in a growing church come because of a personal invite. In other words, they don't come because you have wonderful billboards. They don't come because you have great flyers and great graphic design. They don't even come because you have great things that are on display in your local church. They actually come because someone personally invited them. Someone said, hey, would you come to church with me? I want you to know that 1 in 4 friends say they will attend a church with a friend the first time that they are invited. What I want to do is give you a personal evangelism formula. Tools plus training plus timeliness. Understand the importance that when we have the tools and then when we have the training, we will be able to implement in timely fashion a formula that will bring results. If we're not sharing our faith, we are not growing in our faith. So let's be an example of an evangelistic church. 3 things that we want to share with you today is that there are 3 stages for faith in evangelism. Number 1, it's about believing, it's about belonging, and then it's about becoming. Number 1, it's about believing. The first stage for faith in evangelism is believing. We know that 1 John 5:4 says that whosoever is born of God has overcome the world. And this is the victory that has overcome the world, even our faith. John 3:16 is a staple or a principle of our foundational faith, right? It says, John 3:16 says that God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever would believeth in him would not perish, but have everlasting life. And then I love what the scripture goes on and says, is that God didn't send Christ into the world to condemn it, but Christ came that he might be a bridge so that they could be saved. So the first thing that we want people to believe is that Jesus has come to make a difference in their lives. That's it. It's not so much about them really understanding, believing as you and I believe it, but believe as they can receive it. Meet them where they are. I heard an old preacher say it like this. The scripture does say, if I be lifted up, I'll draw all men to me. Jesus said that, if I be lifted up, I'll draw all men to me. But one of the things that we've done in the church is we've emphasized too much on the lifting and not really the drawing. We're not doing the things that are necessary to draw people to Christ so that they can really experience in real time a wonderful believing and transformational experience. Number 2, they need a place to belong. I've oftentimes heard people say, man, I invite this person to church, I invited that person to church, and they still haven't come. Well, it's because they don't just want an invite, they want a place to belong. Have you ever thought about really opening up yourself and said, hey, you want to go with me, get a cup of coffee? Matter of fact, I bet you could fill up your car if you said, hey, let's go shopping. Let's go to the movies. Let's go to this place. Let's go to dinner. People oftentimes want to belong and be a part of something that's bigger than themselves. But oftentimes, because of them really not understanding what church is designed to be, they don't find themselves in a place where they have been welcomed into an environment where they can belong. I want you to try this. Hey, what are you doing this Sunday? I want you to go with me. We're going to go to church. I want you to check out where I not only worship at, but even more importantly, after that, we're going to go to the mall and hang out and maybe get some lunch or some brunch. Is that cool? And you might find yourself in a place like, wow, okay, not just an invite, but oftentimes exposing yourself to a place where you will be able to see someone in a different light. And then number 3, becoming. You know, people oftentimes, they just don't want to go to church. They want to go to church and find themselves in a place where they can put their hands to the plow, as we would say, or they would be able to do something where they feel a part. And it's so vitally important that when people come into our church environments, that we find places for them where they are able to become, where they're able to move forward in the things of God. I remember this story many years ago. My wife and I were working as lay leaders in a chapel program in England. And I remember that there was a young lady who for the most part would come to church, and the ladies in the church would oftentimes talk about how, you know, because of how she was dressed, she was a distraction, and, you know, this person had this to say, that person had that to say. And come to find out, after sitting down with my wife and one of the other young ladies, they came to find out that the only clothes that this young lady had were the clothes that she had worn to the club. And she knew it was important that if she came to church, she had to wear the best that she had. So it was the best that she had. But these people were so indoctrinated in their religion, if you will, that they could not see that even though this young lady wanted to become a part of what it was they were doing, she recognized that she had to come a certain way. You know, a lot of times people come into our environments every week and they really want to be a part. People need to understand and know that we're not concerned about where they've been, but we're concerned about where they are going. So I'm so thankful to have had this time to share with you in our Shepherd's Conversation, and I'm excited that I will be able to continue to help you move to the place where you need to be.